Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I'm not doing so well. I have a sore throat, and my voice is like really, really bad. So please, excuse me for this one today. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to talk about something very special, which is related to our hackathon, ongoing hackathon from ReactPlay. It's called HackerPlay 2.0. And folks, if you don't know about React Play as a platform, it's an open source platform where you can come contribute to React projects, create React projects, and learn from many other projects as well, right? And we have a ongoing and growing open source community which like to learn together, solve problem together. So anytime if you want, you can actually join us. You can find us on reactplay.io. All the details of ReactPlay will be over there. At this point, we are running our third hackathon, which is like Hacker Play 2.0. We call it Hacker Play 2.0. And this hackathon we have started a week back. There was a week long of registration. And after registration, folks started hacking. I believe that they have started hacking. And with that, what we are doing as a platform is like we are bringing some of the experts from the field to share their knowledge with you. Okay. In the beginning, I told like this hackathon is a beginner friendly hackathon. So it means that if you have never taken part in any hackathon in your life before, this is the time where you can actually take part in. So as it is a beginner friendly hackathon, I'm sure there will be many doubts from many beginners, and it's our opportunity to clarify those doubts. So for that, today I have a very special guest. I have Sumit Saha with me. So before I introduce Sumit, let me bring Sumit on stage so that I can tell a quick hi to him. Hi, hello, hi Sumit, how are you doing?
Hi, Bhaiya. I'm fine. What about you?
I'm doing great. A bit of sore throat. You can see my, you can hear my voice. It's really bad.
Mm.
I myself is feeling
Yeah,
irritated.
I can feel.
Yeah. So this is Sumit, and to introduce Sumit, how I know him, I'll introduce him in that way. So he's the founder of Learn with Sumit. I know him like that. He's the founder of Learn with Sumit. He's also founder of Analyzen, but I know him from Learn with Sumit perspective. People who don't know Learn with Sumit, big, it's a huge community in Bangladesh, and it's dedicated towards upskilling uh, developers basically from all possible angles. So you should go and visit Sumit's YouTube. I'll share the link in a moment. You can see like the breadth of it, the depth of it, the kind of content that he creates to educate folks. And in Bangladesh, his most of his contents are in Bangla because people like to learn in Bangladesh. So but the content are really really awesome. He has been doing fabulous job as a community member, and I had an awesome opportunity very recently to kind of meet him in person. I visited Bangladesh, and he did country's possibly correct me Sumit if I'm wrong, country's biggest dev event till date, possibly, isn't it? DevConf
I would say
1.0.
DEFCON was one of the most impactful events, but I would not take the risk to say that
Okay.
it's the biggest one because there are big events like number of people, number of attendees. As per that, DEFCON is not that big, but in terms of impact, it was huge. It was really loved by the community. So I'm
Yeah,
grateful
yeah,
for
I can feel, I
to
can
the
feel the
community for
impact.
that.
I can feel the impact myself because I got introduced to a completely new length of community, new wave of community. When I went there, met a lot of great folks, and till date, I'm connected to many of them. So very fortunate for that. So Sumit, thank you very much for accepting our invite from React Play. To be present here and start sharing your knowledge today on this React Play Live on this about on the Hacker Play Hackathon. So today's topic is about developer essentials for hackathon to take participation in hackathon. And winning losing is later, but the participation is something which is very important for hackathon, we all know, right? And right now the hackathon is ongoing, the registration is done, people are actually hacking. So we need to let folks know, these beginners know, like what are those essential elements that they can actually leverage to make their hackathon a successful one. So we thought, as this is like developer hackathon, people will be definitely using certain tools like Git, day in, day out. They would like to know, like, once they have implemented their stuff, where are they going to host it? How are they going to host it? Whether it's a back end, there is a API thing, there is a front end, how are they going to deal with it? So there are various nitty-gritty elements that gets involved when you're actually taking part in hackathon. And thank you for giving your time in explaining some of this thing with our all the developers out there. So I won't take much more time. I'll just hand it over to you, Sumit. You can get started with everything that you have for us today.
Okay. Uh, Thanks, Tapus Bhai, for the introduction. Hello, developers. I'm thrilled to be here with you today as a judge and mentor for the HackerPlay Hackathon, organized by the amazing ReactPlay community. Let me begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to Tapush Bhai and the entire ReactPlay team for putting together this fantastic event. It's amazing to see so many passionate developers coming together to showcase their skills and creativity, of course. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Sumit. I run a programming learning platform called Learn with Sumit, which focuses on teaching mainly web development skills in native Bengali language. So if any Bengali brother out there, you can check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Learn with Sumit. You will find lots of useful web development tutorials there. Besides, I also run a digital marketing agency called Analyzen, which happened to be the first ever digital marketing agency in Bangladesh. Yes, by profession, you can say I'm a businessman, but I'm more comfortable introducing myself as a just a passionate programmer. Thank you. Over to you, Tapusta.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction. And I've just pasted the link to your YouTube channel. So, anyone
Thank you.
interested in the topic that Sumit teaches, please go ahead and subscribe to his channel. He's an awesome teacher. And I'm sure that many of us will agree with that. Okay, so coming to the topic today, when myself and Sumit were discussing like what to talk about when the topic is about developer essentials for a successful hackathon, we figured out like we'll be talking about some of the essential tools and how to kind of use them to the best possible way so that you can get the most out of it. That's the whole point over here, right? So Sumit, we kind of discussed about like we'll be touch base Git, we'll be touch basing some of this hosting stuff, like how to tackle these things for the backend services, front end services, API services. But I don't want you to kind of just limit to that. If you have anything beyond that, please feel free, because here the developers are mostly beginners and they would like to know as much as you can actually serve to them. Okay, so what to you?
Absolutely. So, as time is limited, so I will definitely start with Git as promised earlier. But later, if we have time, we can go into the hosting details and everything that you said. I have a plan to show at least how we can host a API to a free server, because after Heroku free version got died, after that we don't find any better options to host our free APIs or everything. So I have a plan to show that if time allows. But firstly, I will go through Git concept and GitHub concept, so that because every developer will need that, and the all the hackers out there will definitely host their source code to GitHub, and they can then play it around. So I will first describe about Git, and then I will go into the hosting details. Thank you. So Tapushda, I need to share my screen. So could you please allow me to share it?
Yeah, go ahead. You can share your screen. You just present your screen. I'll add it. Here you go.
Thank you. So thank you. So uh, basically, we all know, almost all developers know the name GitHub. We might not know every details of it, but we all know about GitHub. So this is my GitHub profile, and I have already logged in here. But before jump into GitHub, I will take you through Git concept first. So I will share, I have a small presentation, a simple slide. One slide is enough to describe, I think. So Tapushda, is my screen visible? Okay, I think Tapushda is
Yes,
off.
yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
yes, 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 yes.
okay. So basically, in short, I will describe Git in a very simple language. Basically, Git is something. Git is called as a version control system. So when we work inside our working directory or in our computer, when we code, we open a folder and then create a file, and then we just write code. But what if we changes something and we need to track all those changes, and if we uh, sometime we need to get back to the previous state, or sometimes we need to upload it to somewhere else. So Git is that kind of version control system that always tracks our changes. Whatever changes we are making inside our working directory, Git keeps track of all the changes, and later we can get back to any version of our code anytime. So this is the fundamental concept of Git. So if we if you look at the screen, you will see I have a working directory, and then after I do some changes here, I will put them to the stage. Stage is actually a intermediary stage between your code and suppose your repository. Repository is something, just consider repository um, er, as a storage. You can consider it as a storage. This is the final storage. This is the final version of your code. But working directory is something where we do some rough stuffs. We just code, we erase, and we then make changes, and we continuously do changes where we code. And when we are done, we can just put our code to the stage, and finally we can commit to the local repository. So everything that I am talking about is inside my machine. That's why this is called local repository. But after this is done, we can just put it to the remote server, and that's where GitHub comes into play. Whatever we're doing inside our local repository, we can do the same in the cloud space, that is GitHub. So GitHub is a remote machine where if the same concept is actually executing. So this is the fundamental concept of Git. And when we take our code to GitHub, we can share the link to any developers or your team members, and your team members can pull the code to their local machine, and then they can do some changes, and they can commit it to the local repository, and then put it to the GitHub repository again, and then you can again pull it and get the changes. So this is the simple concept of Git. So today I will as there are lots of beginners, so I will step by step I will describe how Git works and how we can work inside a local directory. So I am closing the presentation, and I am opening our Visual Studio Code, which you all know, very favorite Visual Studio Code. And this is my terminal. So I am inside a folder that is, suppose my current folder is empty. This is the folder in my local machine is play folder. Okay. So inside this folder, I will do some changes. Like I can create a file here. I can say touch, like for example, index.txt. Okay. So this is a txt file. And in this txt file, I will make a change. Okay. So then I can write anything again. So first change, then I can say second change. Okay. So after making this change, I can open my terminal, and I can initialize a GitHub repository, and the command is git init. But you can see the Git is green marked here because I have already installed Git in my machine. But those who haven't installed Git in your machine, you can install it. This is as simple as going to Google Chrome or any browser and go to the Git website, Git. And here you will find the installation instruction and download. Like I am inside Mac, that's why download for Mac option is shown. But if you are in Windows, you will get the Windows version as well. And just download it and install it. So it's as simple as that. After installing that, this git command is available for you. Then you can just say git init. Init means initialization. So you have initialized a Git repository inside your local machine. Okay. So now, if we go back to the file system, I'm opening my file system here. So that this is the play folder that I am in. If I you can see that the hidden folder git is visible. Okay, normally in our file system the hidden folders are actually hidden, but the dot folders, but I have shown it, and you can see there is a git folder inside. So when you write git init, actually git creates this folder and the local repository is initialized, and whatever changes you are making, this .git folder will watch your code or whatever you write. You can write code here, you can write Word files, PowerPoint, video files, PDF files, whatever changes you are doing, everything will be tracked by this Git folder. So this .git folder has taken control over your local working directory. Okay, so I think it's clear to you now. Suppose I have initialized a repository, but if you can remember, I said there is a stage side after the local directory. So the stage, if we want to, suppose after making this second change, you are confirmed that you are done with today's task and you want to put it to the stage and then commit it to the local repository. So first, to take it to the stage, you need to say git add. Okay, so there are several options, like you can add all the files, like right now we have one file, we can have multiple files, like I can create another file here. So suppose file.txt. Okay, and there is something test. Okay, so now you can simply say git or add all. Okay, or there is a shorter syntax like this capital A. If you press this, everything inside your current directory will be taken to the stage. So you can see that my VS Code editor is showing a sign. So this is actually, it's added to the stage, but it has gone to the stage, but it's not committed to the local repository yet. So before taking you to the local repository stage, I can say that you can again do some changes here, like I can do a third change, and then again I can git add a. So everything, all changes again got synced to the stage. Okay, now this add option has some other syntaxes as well, like you can say git add dot. So dot means everything inside the current directory, the current path you are in. Like currently I am, if I say pwd, so this is my current path, right? So I am inside the play folder. So I can have another folder inside this play folder, like suppose sub is a folder, and inside that I have another file like test2.txt. Okay, and there is a change here. Okay, so right now I am inside the root folder. If I go to the sub folder and then I say git add dot, means only the subfolder. I mean, as I am inside the subfolder right now, only the subfolder is added to the stage. But the other files like file.txt and index.txt in the root folder are not added to the stage yet. Okay, so this is the difference between add all and dot. Dot only takes the current path to the stage. Okay, so I think it's clear. Now we can just go to the root folder and again we can say git add. Okay, there is another trick that is a very standard practice, that we can remain ourselves inside the root folder and we can say git add dot here, because as we are inside the play folder, this is the root folder, so it, it will take everything inside of it. So actually from the root, git add dot and git add all are same. Okay, so at this stage I am taking git add dot, and also you can individually add a file to the to stage. For example, you are making another change here, like you are saying test2, and again you can say git add file.txt. You can individually add a file to the stage as well. Okay, so I have done that. Everything we have done so far is taken to the stage right now, but we haven't taken it to the local repository yet. So to take it to the local repository, we have to commit. Commit means we need to save it to the local repository. So stage is actually an intermediary stage or intermediary position where we can actually play around. We can change and everything, and after we will take it to the stage, and then finally we'll take it to the local repository. So now I am taking all files from the from stage to local repository. But before that, I will show you another command, that is git status. So git status is something, every time you press that, you will see the current status of the git version history. So as you can see, it shows all are green, right? So that means all I mean, everything are inside the stage folder. But if I make a change here again, like for example test 3, now if I press git status, you will see these are the changes that needs to be committed. That means these are inside the stage, but this is not yet ready for commit. Okay, clearly written changes not stage for commit. So this file has been modified, so we need to add this file to the stage as well if we want to so git add, we can say again dot, so everything will be committed, and then git status. So now you can see everything is ready for commit. So now to commit to the stage, we can say git commit, and when we do a commit, we can optionally pass a message or a tag something. So that is -m, and then you can say anything like first change. Okay, so now the codes are taken to the local repository. Okay, now if you say for git status, you can see nothing to commit, working tree is clean. So your code is already synced to the local repository, so you are safe. Now you can take it to the remote, but we will come we'll come to it later, but right now we will focus on the local repository. So now you have the idea that how we can move around our changes from working directory to stage to local directory. Okay, now for example, I will show you another command which is very useful. That is, for example, now in the index page, you have made a change. Like for change, you were here you have written as s here. So after that, suppose you want to and you do another change here. For example, index.txt, file.txt. Here you can write another change, and inside the subfolder you can create another line. Okay, so you have lots of changes, and if you say git status, you can see these three files are modified. But after doing these changes, uh, suddenly you think that you made something wrong and you want to go back to the previous clean version. Okay, so how can you do that? So you can simply say git reset. Okay, so now you can see unstaged changes after reset. So after that you are back to the original stage. Okay, but you say git status, sorry, git, okay, so git status, I think git reset, unstaged changes after reset. Okay, so these are the changes that's unchanged. Okay, fine. So now if you say git status, you can see again you are in the modified stage. So your changes are inside the before stage position, and if you git add dot, now if you say git status, you can see all are staged right now. Now you can say again git reset. So you can see again these files are back to the original state, so the changed state. So now if I say git status, you can see the files are again into the change state. So that means you can revert back to the change state from the staged version. Okay, now Suppose you have committed your changes, like for example, git add dot git commit and say minus m change 2. Okay. Now the changes are committed. And now if you say git status, everything is clean. So your changes are finally committed into the final stage, or in the local repository. Now you want to revert back to the uh, original position from committed state. I mean from local repository to the working directory. How can you do that? In that case, you have to say git reset head and a tilde sign. If you do that, everything will come back to the original state. You are taken to the local to the working directory again, the working version again. So if you say git status, you will see your changes are there. So the committed stage was discarded. Okay, fine. So we have seen some examples of git reset, and now I can show another example of git reset. That is, for example, I need to commit it at dot git commit. Okay. Now, you, for example, you delete this file.txt file. Okay. Okay. Now, if you say git reset, okay. Now I will say git add dot. Okay. So I have staged it. I have deleted a file and staged it. Now, if you say git reset, you can see unstaged changes. You are back to the unstaged changes, but the file is missing because you have reset it, but the changes are reset, but your file is not visible again, because as you have deleted a file, reset only uh, ca- uh, takes you back to the previous state, but only with the changes, not with the original files. You have resetted the change only, not the files. If you want the file to come back again, then you have to say git reset hard flag. Okay, hard reset. Now the file is back. You can see the file is back again. So I think the reset option is clear to you. Now you can uh, okay, so another option I want to show, that is about git rm, that is git remove. So right now if I say git status, so our everything is clean. Now I want to make a change. For example, suppose I delete it again, the file, I delete it again. And uh, for if I delete it, I can simply hit add dot, then I can say git status. So the my deleted file history is taken to the stage. So if you want to commit from here, like git commit minus m deleted file dot txt. Okay. So you have deleted a file and committed the changes. So it's been taken to the local repository as well, and it's saved. So it's final, full and final. Now you are ready to go to the remote. But if you want to do this in another way, like the rm syntax, that is the remove file syntax, if you do it, so actually when you delete a file, you need to do two things. First you need to delete it, then you need to add it, then again you need to commit it. Now I will show you another example. For example, suppose I have a new file dot txt, and I have made a change like test. Then suppose I am committing it. Fine. Suppose now you want to delete the file. Okay. So you can manually delete it, or you can say git rm, that means remove. Then you can say the file name, like file dot txt. Okay. See, the file is g- gone, but if you say git status, you can see it's already ready to be committed. So the file was deleted and was instantly taken to the stage. So it's doing the same thing but in one single command. Previously, when you deleted a file manually, you had to do it twice, like you have to delete it and then add it to the stage. But in this case, you don't need to add it to the stage, it's already staged. Okay, so this is the difference between RM and manually deleting a file. Okay, so now we are ready to commit it. So let's commit. So RM is a very sensitive type of thing. As you know, deleting or everything is a bit sensitive. So I want to show another example here. For example, you know that, for example, like you have a file here, suppose like git ignore. Okay, so this is a special file, and here you can actually ignore some files or folders to be taken to the repository. For example, you can say the subdirectory needs to be ignored by git, so git will not watch this folder. So you want that, but previously it's already watched. Okay, so you have created this git ignore file right now. So if you commit it, if you add it to the stage and then commit it, the subfolder will not be deleted from the from the local repository. Okay, so in this case, the subfolder, so actually that means you have created a git ignore file and you want to just take the changes to the uh, repository, but do not want to, and also you just want to change the just take the changes to the stage, not the folder. So in that case, you can say git rm cached. Okay, and then you can say dot git ignore. Sorry, dot main git rm cached git ignore did not match any files. Think why else dot git ignore did not match any files. It should not be cached. Ignore did not match any files, but it's there already. Tapusda, do you have any idea?
Your path is correct, right? You're on the same path.
Yeah, yeah. I am in the root folder, play folder.
Yeah, then you should actually take it.
And there
Try
is no
it once.
suggestion also. Dot git. Okay. So let's create another file. For example, like s.txt. Now, if I say git rm cached, so what's happening? It's all inside the play folder. Cached s.txt did not match any files. I think cached option should be mentioned later. S.txt and the cached flag using. Any idea, Tapusda?
No, I don't. I'm not getting any idea at this point of time. Maybe we can come back to this one. You proceed with the other stuff.
So if I say ls, so I am getting index.txt and subfolder. So these two
Correct.
files are hidden actually. So let's do git reset. Hard reset. Okay, no idea. So it's there is a problem. So the file is still there, I think. Okay, so we'll
Yeah,
come back to it later.
Priyankar made a suggestion. Like he's
Okay.
asking, like you have to stage, but I'm not sure, like what
Oh,
exactly it
okay.
is.
He's right. He's right, I think.
Okay,
And so I need to stage it. Then I can.
you have to do git add. Okay,
But now if I say ls, still the file is not shown. Maybe it's hidden, that's why. So let's create another one. There is a test.txt file, but it's also hidden. Surprising.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So git add again, let's say I've committed it. Okay. So now, oh, I think I was creating a file inside the subfolder. That's why it was hidden. Maybe because I've already mentioned subfolder in the git ignore file.
Oh, okay, okay,
Maybe.
okay.
But why the git ignore file was not recognized, I'm not sure. So anyways, so what I was trying to say that if I create another file here in the root folder like testing.txt and write anything here, now I can just say git. Oh, then I need to stage it. Git rm and the cached flag. Okay, fine. So now you can see that's what I was trying to achieve. So I have removed the file, you can say, but I made a cached flag. Okay, so it means the file was removed, but you can see the file is still there. Actually, the changes was removed, and I need to and I can stage it again right now. So that's what I was trying to say before. If I did not if I missed the cached flag, then it was not the uh, how can I explain? For example, I can create another file here, for example 1.txt, and I say git add dot, then I can git rm 1.txt without the cache flag. Okay, so it's saying following file has changes staged in the index. Use cached to keep the file or F to force
Hmm.
the removal. So there are two options. One is the cached flag and one is the force flag. If you say force, then the file will be deleted and the changes will be taken to the stage. But if you use cached, then the file will not be deleted, only the changes will be taken to the stage. Okay, so I think now I made it clear. Okay, so I've staged it and can commit it now.
Yeah, I think Priyankar also mentioned the similar stuff in the comment
Absolutely,
section. So
absolutely, absolutely.
shout out to him. Thanks, Priyankar.
Okay, thanks, Priyanka. If I'm not wrong, Priyanka or Priyang, not sure.
Priyankar.
Priyankar. Okay, okay. Thank you. So the cached option is gone. Then I want to show the branching strategy. That's the most important thing. So branching is actually, as you know, that as developers, we work in a team, right? You are working from your machine and another developer is working from his machine or her machine in the same project. So developers can create separate branches for their own. For example, me Shumit is working from my own branch and another developer is working from another branch, right? Then the codes needs to be merged, and so that and we will keep one single root repository, that or branch, that is the main branch. So currently we are inside the main branch. This is the default branch. Okay, when we initialized a grid repository, we are straightforward, we are taken to the main branch. But uh, if we can easily create new branches here. For example, from this stage, if I say git status, our working tree is clean. Now I am creating a new branch. For example, if I enter grid branch, says only the main branch. So we have only one branch here, and star means this is the current branch. Okay. Now if I press Q, this is the git bash shell. So that's why I need to press Q to get out of here. Then this is the terminal, and now I will create a new branch. For example, git branch dev. Okay, so we have created another branch here. Now if you say git branch, I mean the list, you can say there are two branches, one is dev and one is main, and main is the current branch. And when you created a new branch like git branch dev, being inside the main branch, you will actually all the codes that I have written here, or all the changes that I have done here, will be taken to the as it will be taken as it is inside the in the dev branch. Okay, so the dev branch has the same code or same files right now. Now the question is, how can you go to the dev branch? So it's simple: git checkout dev. Okay, so now you are inside the dev branch. So you can see that all the files are same. Okay, you can say git status, it's same. But for example, now you can create a new file here. For example, changes. Okay, changes something. Sorry, changes. Okay, so this this is the change that you have made. It's inside the dev branch, right? So now you can simply stage it and commit it. Okay, so it's committed. Now you can go back to the main branch. Now I will take you to the file system. You will see the changes file is not here. Okay, but if I go to the dev branch again, here is the changes file. So the beautiful part about git is the .git folder that I showed you. This is the .git folder. It has taken the whole control over your file system. So actually this folder is watching whatever you are doing. So when you are checking out another branch and going to another branch, the all files are also changed. For example, you can go to the git checkout. I can show it here like this. Just look at the changes. Git checkout main. Look, the changes file is gone. So actually, you can say that the git folder is listening what you are doing. It's like a JavaScript listener. You can assume that like way. So it's actually listening what you are doing, and it when you are changing branches, it's reflecting straight away in the file system. Okay, so that's the interesting thing, I think. So now we know how to create a branch and how we can check out to different branches. Now comes the most interesting part, that is the merging problem. So it's obvious that a developer is working in a dev branch and another developer is working in another branch. For example, we can create another branch from here, like git branch, for example, stage. Okay, so stage, as I created the stage branch from remaining inside the main branch, so stage branch and main branch has the same code right now. So if you check out to stage, you can see this is same. Okay, so there is a .ds store folder. This is a Mac, as I'm using Mac, so it's like a Windows has a dot something file. So it's the same as like that. So .ds store needs to be ignored inside the git ignore file. But anyways, so I can actually, in fact, stage it so that now our working directory is clean. For example, I am creating a new file again. Like for example, the changes file is not here, right? But inside the dev branch, we have a changes dot something file. And I am creating another file, for example, 1.txt, and I have written 1 here. Okay. Then I'm committing the changes. Fine. So now I will go to the dev branch and I will create the same file, same name. Okay. And in the same line, I will say write 2. Okay, so clearly you can see, though now you know that both the branches have the same code, but when you are working together, one developer is writing it from his machine and you are writing to the same position in the same file. So you never know that it's going to fail, right? So when you merge the two branches, you will find a conflict. So I will show that right away. So for example, the dev is dev branch is also committing the changes. Okay. So inside the dev branch, we have a 1.txt file where 2 is written, and inside the stage branch, we also have a 1.txt file. If I go to the stage, there is also a 1.txt file. Oh my god, here is 1 is written. So let's say test is written. So git. Okay. So now from the stage branch, I can merge the changes from the dev branch to this branch as well. So to do that, I need to say git merge with which branch? For example, dev branch. If you say this, you can straight away say auto merging. So auto merging was not possible. If the file names were different, like different file or in different line, Git would automatically merge it using its AI. But as in the same line, one developer has written test and one developer has written two. So Git doesn't know which one to take. Okay, that's why it left it up to you. Okay, so you have to take the decision from this branch that what you want to do. So you can say the dev has written two and you have written, or this branch has written test. Okay, so now you can actually do it manually. Like you can say I want to keep the two one. Okay, so now, sorry, you can stage it and commit it. Fine. So stage branch is fine. Now if I go to the dev branch, here 2 is still there. Okay, you can see. So what I can do here, I can git merge with stage. Okay, so look, the .dstore file that I changed inside the stage branch is also taken. 1.txt file change was taken. It was not, it did not have any conflict. And actually this file, sorry, uh, it was actually auto merged. Okay, so in line one, here is two and there is two also. So these two files were auto merged. So now the problem is solved. There was no conflict. So now if you see git status, you will see everything is clean. Okay, so now from the, and you can take, you can go to the main branch as well right now. And now you want to merge, as stage branch and dev branch is synced, so you can merge from any branch here. So I can merge it from the dev branch. Okay, so now the main branch is updated. So that's how merge conflicts are sorted. Okay, so that's what so far I think. Tapushda, do I need to add anything or I can close it here, like merge conflict and everything, or do I need to
I
show
think
the git stash issue?
I think this
Do
is
you
good.
want me to explain git stash?
Yes, I can. Git stash is a good concept. Yeah, you can explain. And there are a few questions that I'll ask after we finish explanation.
Okay, thank you. So, should I show the hosting related issue after that, after Git tutorial,
Yes,
or we will?
please. Yeah, maybe we can take
Okay.
5 quick minutes to put some
Oh,
thoughts around
I
that.
think 5 to 7 minutes will be fine. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
So, just the final concept, that is Git stash. So, uh, let me write the spelling stash. Okay. So stash means, I mean, hide, right? So let me give you an example. For example, you say you create a new file like mm, my name. Okay, so you have made a change. For example, okay, so uh, after making the change, suddenly you need to go to another branch, and for example, you want to switch to the git checkout page branch. Okay, uh, how how I was allowed to go to the stage branch? without committing the changes. Not sure. Git checkout main. So Sumit.txt. Tapos the surprising. I made a change and now
Yeah, you didn't
I,
add, and you could switch.
do you have any idea? Because I should not be allowed to go to the. Uh, don't know what's happening. So I am again. So, oh my God, it's not. uh, fine.
So
So
you
again,
when you did check out, you gave a branch
I
name that
think
time
I'm writing
to.
another line here. I'm writing
Okay.
another line here, and now I want to go to the Git checkout stage. Yes, now it worked. Okay, so here you can say it says your local changes to the following files would be overwritten by checkout. So that means you were working inside the main branch and you made a change, and now you want to switch to the stage branch, but you did not commit yet. Okay, so if you want to treat is like a draft, like you don't want to commit or you don't want to stage, but you just want to save it like a draft, just like we do in Gmail or any mail client. So we can switch to any pages while we're typing, right? So if you want to get that feature, you can use the git stash command. So here you can simply say git before going to the state, you can say git stash, simple git stash. So now you can say it says saved working directory and index state. Okay. So now Git, you can see the changes is not there. Okay. But Git has saved it already like a draft and made it hidden. Okay. Now you can switch to the page branch. Sorry. Git check out stage. Yes. Now you can go to the stage branch, do your changes, whatever. Now again, you can go to the main branch and you want to take it back, your draft. Okay, so you can in fact take a look at how many drafts you already have. You can say git stash list, so you can see you have one draft here. So it's like an array, like stash zero. Like if you have more than one stash, you would have zero, one, two. So currently I have one draft. Okay, so I can do again some changes. Like for example, sorry, I need to get back to my git. Sorry, git stash apply. Okay, so git stash apply changes not staged for commit. Yes, fine. So now you can see the draft state is back. Okay, so you can again do some changes like test 2. And again, you want to make another draft. You don't want to commit or stage. You want to make another draft. So you can say git stash again. Fine. So now you can say git stash list. Now you have two version of drafts. This is the latest draft. Zero is the latest, and one is the and zero, one, two, and you can have as many drafts as you want. So I think it's clear to you that how the drafts are maintained. Now, from here, you can apply any, sorry, git stash apply. You can say the index number. For example, you want to apply the one number draft. Now, you can go here and you can say this is the one number draft. Okay. So at this stage, you can simply, um, even you can, right now, you have git stash list, you have two drafts. For example, you want to delete one draft. eh? So you can say git dash drop and you can say the index number, for example 0. Okay, so the 0 number stash was deleted. Now if I go to git stash list, you will see only one draft version remains. Okay, sorry, you. So now I can say git, as I have only one stash remaining, so I can simply say git stash apply. Then I can simply add dot and commit. Okay, but it was committed, so you might think that stash was deleted. But if you say git stash list, will say the stash is there. So it should have been deleted, right? But Git did not do that. You can manually delete it, or sorry, or before adding to stage, you could have said git stash pop and the index number or one. If you did that, then Git would have deleted that and also take you to the stage. That is the difference. Okay, so you can manually delete it now, or before in the previous stage, previous step, you could have entered this command. So in that case, the one number stash would have been applied and deleted from your draft list. Okay, so that's what git stash is. So I think it's all. Oh, the final thing I want to show, that is remote, taking it to the remote. We were working inside the local branch, so I want to take you to the remote now. So what we can do, we can go to the repositories and you can create a remote repository here. So for example, I can say, for example, hack r, and you can keep it private repository. Okay, I have created a repository, and this is the important thing, that you can take one of these options. I will take the SSH option. So as inside my terminal, I am logged into my GitHub account. You have to log in. You have to be logged into your GitHub account, and when you install GitHub, if you follow the instructions, you will find the instruction that how you can log into your terminal. So I am already logged in. So what I can do, I want to take whatever changes I made into my local repository to the remote repository and want to keep them synced. So in that case, I can say, I have already initialized the repository. So I need to say git current. First, I will check whether my working directory is clean or not. Yes. Then I can say git remote add origin and the link that I just copied. So now your local repository knows what is the remote repository. So I have set the origin, git remote add origin, and this is the origin. Okay. So now I will say git push and origin, and you are in the main branch. So that means you are pushing from main branch to the origin branch. Okay. So git push origin main. Done. Now if you reload all your changes, you can see there are, in fact, there are branches. Oh, the branches are not taken. Suppose the git push takes the branches, right?
Yeah, once you once you do add all and then push it, yeah, it should
Oh, sorry,
push
sorry,
along
sorry,
with
sorry,
the
sorry.
branch.
I missed the add all of them. Git add, git commit. Everything up to date. Okay, so I think the branches are missing. How can I solve it now? Suppose the
Your branches are there
so,
locally, or those are kind
yeah,
of
I,
removed?
I I have my branches, grid branch.
Just do branch
Yes, I
minus
have
a.
branches. So should be taken automatically. Like one branch, all the branch should be
Yeah.
there.
So do you have any branch where there are no, I mean, the changes are not gone to main yet, or all the branches changes are gone to main?
All branches are synced, I believe. Git
Okay.
checkout dev. So git status. So it's clean. Then I can say git checkout stage and git status. Yes, it's also clean. So everything is fine. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I sorry, got it. G- uh, git push origin stage. I need to push individually. Sorry for my mistake. So I just push the main branch, git checkout dev and git push origin dev. Now all three
No issue.
branches are pushed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So now if I reload, yes, everything is there. So I
Nice.
think that's it for Git. I think it's more than enough to actually start your project and
Yep. Yep.
use the Git. Now I will show you a quick. Uh,
So, Shobit,
uh,
before you move on, as it is related to
okay.
Git, there are few comments and few discussions. Wants to quickly talk about them
Sure.
because we
Sure.
are switching the topic.
Okay.
Um, I think there are a lot of comments about like discussion, like as we are figuring out stuff. Like Priyankar made a lot of great suggestions. Like he made about Git switch instead of checkout
Yeah.
to use Git
Git switch.
switch. That's a good one. Then there is a question from Devjit. Like he's asking, is Git ignore gets cached? He has problem with it. Sometimes is being cached.
Yeah.
I'm not so
So
sure. Like,
we saw it. We saw it
this
live.
is,
We saw it live.
yeah, we saw it
I
there.
actually, Git cached option is actually mostly used with that dot git ignore file, because sometimes we
Uh,
forget to create the git ignore file, and surprisingly there is a node modules folder. If you are building a node project, there is a node modules folder, and the node modules folder is already checked out to the repository, remote repository, and later we figured out, wow, my node modules folder is already there. So then we need to first create a git ignore file inside the local repository. Then if we add it and commit it, then the already node modules folder that is already there in the remote repository is not deleted. So in that case, this is the issue. So we need to cache the git ignore files changes and then manually delete it and then finally solve it. So maybe he is addressing that issue, I believe.
yeah, possibly. Okay. So you can move to the next topic. Then you can come back and take few more questions which are there in the chat.
Okay, sure. So I think Bhaiya, please allow. Okay.
Yeah,
So
decided.
what? Okay. So I have created a small REST API project for this session. This is just a simple API. Let me open it. For example, mm, okay. So CD API. So this is the API that I have created. Simple API, an Express.js API. I believe uh, I'm not sure, but I believe most of the users will use the Node ecosystem or Marn stack, or some people will use Lamp stack. But I will show the Marn stack case. If you have an API and you want to host it to a remote server, which is free, definitely you will try to find a free option first. So I will show you an example that how you can handle that. So I have a simple Node.js project, an Express.js project, where I have simply created app, and I have a simple model, one single collection. So I have a database. So in the env file, I have mentioned the MongoDB URL, and it's actually a remote MongoDB hosting, and I have used Mongo Atlas for that. And this is Mongo Atlas. You can create an account, and one database is free for you. Okay, so you can create one database, and you can use the uh, uh, database credentials option. options and place it inside your env file, and then connect the MongoDB database. Then after your API is working, for example, if I say, yeah, so it's listening to 3000 port. So now, for example, I have one route here, or two routes, I think. Yes, data. There is a route called data. So for example, data. So this is the API response that I'm getting. So I want to host this API to a remote server. So what we can do, we can use render.com. Okay, so this is the only option that I found to uh, who provides a small free package that you can use. So I have created an account here, and I will go to the dashboard. And what you need to do is, for example, you need to take it to the GitHub account first. So I will create a repository first here. For example, I can create a repository like simple API private repository. So here's my project. Git is already initialized, as you can see, as you are seeing the main branch identifier. So it's already Git is initialized, local repository is initialized. So Git remote add origin. Oh, origin already exists. So I already previously I had an origin. So I need to delete origin. I forgot the command to delete origin. Git how to delete origin. Okay, git remote rm command in order to delete it. Okay, fine. My God. Okay. So I think git remove origin, git remote rm origin. Remove remote origin, আরেকটা হচ্ছে remove local origin. I want to remove the local origin. How to delete. No, remote origin should be fine. Git remote v. So I already have, oh, this was the origin. I think the repository already exists. So I can check as I tested already. So there is a test type of repository out there. So repository test h. Yes, there is already a repository. So I already added a code to a repository already. So we can simply go to render.com and go to new web services, and then we can connect our repository. But before that, you need to be logged in with your GitHub account. So then you can search for the repository like this test h, then connect it, and you can give a name of your project. You can choose an origin. For example, you can say Southeast Asia. Branch, which branch you want to deploy, that is the main branch. This is the root directory, and as our root directory is this one, so we don't need to say anything here. And runtime is node, fine. Build command, I will say npm install, and start command is my start command, so index.js. So node, your start command can be different, but whatever it is, you just write it here. And this is the free tier. So this is 512 RAM, zero point 0.1 CPU. So I think it's more than enough to test at least once or twice. Then create web service. Okay, but your environment variables, like if you have any .env file, like for example, here I have a .env object like this one, mongodb underscore URL. So you need to go to the environment menu and write your environment variables here. So your MongoDB URL can be different on or whatever environment variables that you are using. You can enter it here, save it, and then you can just clear build cache and redeploy, and you can deploy it from here. So I think Tapasda, I think it's simple, very simple. So they can use this platform to uh, 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 make their API live.
Yes. Yeah. So there is Render is definitely a good platform for hackathon kind of project. You can explore. I've been
Mm.
using it for a lot of my tutorials and all these things for a while. There are some comments about using Next.js itself to do like serverless computing with APIs. You can do that also. You can do serverless computing with Next.js also. Just to be mindful about the cost and other stuff. I think you will be running out of things the cost wise much faster on Vercel than Render. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
I
There is a
think as a
question about
developer, we always should have a mindset of investing something. Like we at least in the server resources. For example, you can purchase a DigitalOcean droplet in just
yeah.
$5. Okay, so you can invest that amount. So because getting a VPS in $5 is amazing because you can play
Mm.
around, you can install anything you want. You will not have any resource limitations or anything. You can play around and you can do as many requests as possible, and you will also get a very beautiful idea about how the infrastructure works behind the scene, how the Linux shell is working, how you are running commands inside the remote server. So everything will be really playful. So uh, try to invest at least $5 to host your website.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like making the project a little more practical, like website could be
Hmm.
a very good example. I think it's worth doing that small payment and kind of make it much more better than just leaving it for free here and there. Yeah, it's a mindset at the end of the day.
It's a mindset at the end of the day.
There is a comment from Haider Hossein. By I'm just reading it, like he thinks about like render is kind of a better option for this kind of stuff because of mostly about the lower number of configurations that you have to do on render than Vercel. So that would be one of the other stuff, right? That
He has made a comment. It's not a question.
Hmm.
Actually, he's showing us the advantage that
Yeah,
render
yeah,
is
exactly. The
bringing.
comment. Yeah,
Vercel is a
exactly.
bit complex. Vercel is mostly for the Next.js projects because it works like wonder. It's been customized and built for the Next.js project. But render is something that is very easy to use. Very, very easy to use.
And it's quite
It,
open
it's
for any kind
almost
of
it's
APIs, right?
almost close to Heroku. It's absolutely a carbon copy of Heroku. It's actually
Mm.
platform as a service, PaaS service. So I believe it's a carbon clone of Heroku, and it wants to take the market.
Yeah, hopefully it does. There's one question. I think you can quickly take this question about Mongo Atlas versus Compass.
Okay, Compass is the local copy. You are using Mongo Compass inside your desktop. So it's actually a desktop application of Mongo. Actually, desktop client. We would say the desktop client. Like for example, if you haven't have worked with MySQL, then we have a desktop client called the UI, the user interface, that is PHP So MongoDB Compass is like that.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's the same company's product, Mongo Compass, and Mongo Atlas is the remote version of it. So
Correct.
if you want to host your site remotely and want to make it available to everyone in the world, then you have to use Mongo Atlas or anything. There are other solutions as well. I think Render also has a MongoDB option there. Docs. If you go to the Render website, you will see there is a MongoDB option. You can create a MongoDB database there as well.
Yeah, so just to kind of extend it, maybe in a funny way, like Srinath, if you are building things for the hackathon and Sumit is one of the judge, you have to make the public things available for him to look into. So Atlas is the way to go.
No,
Yeah,
no, not not
sorry, my
only
bad.
Atlas. You can do anything, but at least I need to see, and your database should work. That's it.
Yeah, that should work. Yeah. Okay, so Sumit, not sure how much of the Laravel background you have. Do you know
Oh my
any
god.
free alternatives?
There are so many alternatives, I believe, because PHP is king. So PHP is for the free developers. So definitely, if you Google, so you will find lot of options. But mostly LAMP stack, as PHP comes from the LAMP stack perspective. So you need Linux system, you need Apache, you need MySQL installed. So integrated service is mostly cpanel based services. So I'm not sure whether there are any cpanel free alternative is there right now, but when I worked in PHP back in 2011-12, there were alternatives, there were lots of free alternatives. I'm not sure whether we'll find right now, but I think you should Google. I'm sorry, but I cannot say the name right now, but if I find any, I will comment back. Thank you.
Yeah, he also has an interesting question to you. I think it is again the Next.js versus React.js kind of question. So he says that if you can make an app using Filament, which is of course a framework, Laravel framework, that much only I know about Filament. Is it too early to use? Or I'm not sure if the question is related to the hackathon or outside hackathon in general. So his question is like, is it too complicated to use it now? Should we wait to use the framework, or we kind of just go with the Laravel, React, and Inertia?
Okay. So it's absolutely your personal choice, but I would definitely say that Filament is relatively newer technology. So you will not find enough resources. You will not find enough document. The documentation is the only way to go with. So if you find it useful and if you find it readable at least, and you can understand what they are trying to say, then you can definitely try it out. But so right at this stage it's not possible for me to actually comment on Filament because I haven't explored it. I have heard of it, like as Aparuta said, that it's a Laravel feature. We know, just like Inertia and everything, but definitely you can try, and please share your feedback because Devjit is always there. I have already seen him in numerous times. Wherever Tapusda goes, Devjit is there. So I know we are connected. So definitely, if I manage time to look at Filament, I will get back to you. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And there is a good information from Priyankar. Yeah, I wish
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
if I get a student account, maybe once my daughter grows a little bit more, I'll get some of the student accounts. So yeah, not only DigitalOcean, there are other things like you can get Canva free, you can get many other stuff free. But this is a great
Mm.
information. Like if you are a student account, you can get $200 credit, which is huge, which is enough for you kind
Which
of
is you.
big projects.
So if people from Bangladesh are watching, then there is a problem because uh, DigitalOcean can provide you free services for the students, but from Bangladesh we cannot access international payment gateway. Like we don't have Payoneer, we don't have PayPal, so that's the issue. So if you can arrange a card somehow, or you can go to a bank and apply for a Aqua card or this type of services, so then you can manage, I think.
Okay, good information. Where to get the students' accounts? Yeah, you got to be a student, or you have to get some student
You
whose
have to
account you
apply
can
with
use.
your you have to apply with your student ID and different procedures
Yes.
as there. Like
Yeah.
different platforms have their policies, so you will have to apply. So fill up the form, upload relevant documents, and then you will be granted the access.
Yeah, exactly. Good, interesting questions. I guess we are almost at the end of this. This is great. I mean, it went really well. But before I end, I want to take few notes from you, Sumit. So you're also a judge, and you're mentoring people, through this podcast, maybe offline as well. So, as a judge from Hacker Play, what's your expectation? What are you
So
expecting from folks?
So actually, first of all, I expect participation. As you said right from the beginning of this session, that participation is the most important thing. It's not about winning. Yeah, winning is nothing. So uh, whoever wins it at this hackathon and whoever loses in the next hackathon, he can be a winner. Okay, so that's not the good important thing. The main purpose of hackathon is to participate and take the challenges, execute, try at least, And the most important thing is the networking part. That is very important. So hackathon actually gives you a practical experience of how production ready applications can be deployed to the server, can be, and the competitive environment gives you an urge to go forward, move forward. So if you participate in 3 hackathons, you will see that in the third hackathon you are more confident than the second one.
Mm.
So that's the benefit of hackathon, I believe.
Yeah,
So it
good, good.
builds
So
confidence, it builds your confidence, and will make you a better developer, definitely. So it's
oh,
same as like problem solving, and it will enrich your
exactly.
solving skills as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Great. So we'll be looking forward to kind of know more from you. Like, I'm sure that you'll be looking into many ideas implementation in the coming days. We still have long way to go. We are on 2nd of August, and our hackathon ends on 11th of August. So we still have 9 to 10 days, including weekend. I'm sure people will hack, very, very, very strong way. And I'm hoping to see, like, we have what, I don't exactly remember the number, maybe 174 around registration. So if I say 50% of that
174,
also,
174
register idea
teams or
registration,
170? Okay, so
idea
174 teams,
registration,
idea registration.
teams,
So we
yes.
will,
Yeah, that is the
okay.
team.
So we will get 174 ideas. That's amazing.
Yes,
That's huge.
I'm if it is 100%, 174 ideas get implemented, nothing like that. Even if it is like say 60%, 70% or
50% would be
50%,
amazing. Yeah. Mm.
amazing, right? So let's build, guys, and we are here to help you out. Please join
And
the
one more,
Discord. Yeah.
and one important thing I would like to add, that ideating your own project, this is called
Mm,
creativity. So you are
mm,
building your creativity skill as well if you are
mm.
taking part in any kind of hackathon, because you are giving the idea, you are executing the product. So you have a live experience of how a small startup can be grown, like a technology startup. So you are building your startup. So
Yeah.
if I give an example of the git stash feature, so it's like that. So you are making your startup draft actually.
Draft mode. Yeah. Yeah, very good analogy. Cool. I hope you all like this session, and if you missed it, please, we'll be sharing it, go through it offline because it will be available on the YouTube. Anyways, uh, our primary sponsor for this hackathon is Bugfender. Bugfender is a log collection engine. It works on cloud. The company is situated in Germany. They are sponsoring this event with all the prize money and all. And we have also kept a kind of small clause of testing out Bugfender library in your application as you build. I've been getting few questions like, how to use it. Though there are documentations, it says like how to use it and all, but people still may have that inertia to jump into and get ready with it. So tomorrow we'll be doing a session on how to use Bugfinder for this hackathon for your knowledge. So that session will be on Discord. So please join our Discord so that you can take part in that session. And if you're building, you're hacking, it is important for you because that's one of the clause using the Bugfinder SDK, using the Bugfinder library in your project. So please join tomorrow Discord. So, we'll be doing a session, very small one, completely towards Bugfinder. All right, Sumit, any last thing from your side before we wrap up?
Definitely, I have nothing to say other than thanking you. So you have been a big brother to me always. So whenever you call me up, I will definitely come. And I wish all my best wishes to React Play community. So it will be one of the biggest React Play communities in the world, I believe, one day, as Tapushda is there. So I have that confidence. So, and definitely, if there is any people from Bangladesh out here, আহ, আমি তাদেরকেও বাংলায় বলছি আর কি, I love you all, and everyone who is watching, thanks for listening.
Yeah, and thanks for coming and delivering this talk. Thank you everyone for joining. It was really awesome hearing from all of you on chat mode. So we'll connect again. Thanks a lot. Take good care. Good evening. Good night. Bye bye.
Tada.
Bye.